Hello and welcome to round 19 of the 2025 Super Formula One World Championship, the Road Atlanta Grand Prix. We return to the States for the second time this season now with 3 races to go, starting with a 50-lap race around Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, a 2.54-mile track with 12 corners serving as the second shortest track on the calendar, but still provides exciting racing. A year ago, George Russell took the checkered flag ahead of one of the best on-track battles we saw from championship rivals Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen, and a year later they return locked into another title fight. Let's see how it unfolds this year and take a look at the starting grid.
Starting at the back, Esteban Ocon starts P20 alongside Gabriel Bortoleto in 19th, Isaac Hadjar starts 18th alongside Alex Albon in 17th, and ahead Lance Stroll starts 16th next to Franco Colapinto. His teammate Pierre Gasly starts 14th next to Liam Lawson, and then Nico Hülkenberg starts P12 alongside Yuki Tsunoda in P11. Carlos Sainz starts off P10 next to Fuji's winner Kimi Antonelli, then user Fernando Alonso starts 8th next to rookie Oliver Bearman in P7. Lando Norris starts P6 next to Charles Leclerc in P5, and then last year's winner George Russell starts 4th alongside Max Verstappen. Oscar Piastri starts in 2nd, and Lewis Hamilton takes his second pole position of the season.
And we are underway from Road Atlanta. The cars in the rear starting on the curve of the final corner. Lewis Hamilton looks to have gotten away well in the launch. Headed into turn 1, he moves to cover off Piastri, opening the door for Verstappen, which is now shut. And Piastri, like a year ago, swoops around the outside and takes the lead of this race. Watch for George Russell from 4th because he sneaks up the inside of Hamilton, and they go wheel to wheel early on here. Russell's got the leverage, and he's jumped up to 2nd. Norris has jumped Verstappen, the Red Bull dropping to 5th now, as Antonelli and Leclerc go side by side through the S's and gets out of the Ferrari. He started 9th, now up 3 places. Back up front, Hamilton dropping off the lead quickly, already 3rd behind Russell, who gained 2 places, and Oscar Piastri leading coming out of turn 1 for the 2nd year in a row. Taking another look at lap 1 from the sky, and you can see that everyone got off the line quickly. No poor starts, but it's just the inside line is off the racing line. It's the dirtier part of the track, and it gives better grip to the outside. Piastri is essentially benefiting from starting 2nd as well as those directly behind him. We see that with Russell, with Norris, both making up ground here. You'll then see it with Antonelli to the inside of Leclerc, though deeper into the lap. But that even number starting position was clearly advantageous for nearly everyone. Russell gaining ground coming out of turn 5. He won this race last year ahead of Piastri and already now trying to go for the lead as they head into the double right. Slight contact that looked like coming out of 6th. Watch Norris on Hamilton, he snuck it up the inside as well and gets ahead as Russell alongside Piastri. He gets a great launch out of turn 7. George Russell now leads this race from Oscar Piastri, and then Lando Norris gets ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who's now off the podium. We know this can continue all the way down the backstretch. Norris behind his teammate looking for leverage as well. He's moving alongside Piastri. They head down into the chicane, and Piastri breaks first. Norris will have the inside, but that switches to the outside coming back up the hill. And on the descent, Piastri has to back out, so Lando Norris gets up to 2nd now. Verstappen managed to get ahead of Hamilton as well, and he's going to get a tow from Norris across the line. Look at what that does for him as he accelerates past the McLaren and finds himself 3rd, heading up to turn 1. Back up the hill, Piastri trying to stick his front wing to the inside, but Verstappen's got the move done. 1st to 4th for Piastri in less than a lap. Norris has closed that gap to Russell, as we can see now coming out of turn 5. Getting a good tow on the run down to 6th. He's moving to the inside early, forces his way in. Now they're going to turn 7 side by side, but Lando Norris has got the advantage, and with that he leads the race. Big move there from Lando, now ahead of Russell, ahead of Verstappen. Russell is close down the hill as they enter the chicane. A slight tap to the back of Lando Norris, and now he'll battle him out of the chicane, wheel to wheel. Russell gets a great exit and retakes this race lead. Multiple lead changes here early on at Road Atlanta. And now that gets us 4 cars packed in down the back straight. Verstappen alone on the inside, and that transitions to Norris being alone on the inside going down into turn 10, descending down the track, and Verstappen and Norris are neck and neck. Russell protects his lead, but Verstappen trying to move into 2nd. He's got the move done, and now Max Verstappen has entered himself into the conversation. And we're seeing it now with the rate at which Verstappen has caught Russell. He's got the slipstream on the way down the hill, stays tucked underneath, and makes contact under braking. And that can completely unravel this race. Russell and Verstappen entering the pits, and that releases Lando Norris into the lead and Oscar Piastri in the second, making the McLaren 1-2. Lewis Hamilton continues on behind now in third. Antonelli looks around Charles Leclerc. He's got a ton of speed on the descent. He's going to collect two cars in the space of one corner as he clears Sonoda. Leclerc is still behind the lap traffic. And Piastri, taking advantage of the toe, started to move to the inside but stays tucked underneath into turn 10 and taps Norris. And that seems to push Norris off his line because the door opens for Piastri, but Norris is fighting this one back. Was that contact damage? No, they both stay out, but Oscar Piastri retakes the lead of this race from his teammate, and these two cannot afford to take each other out this late in the season, but they are sure fighting, and Norris is coming back at Piastri in turn 1. Piastri trying to hold on from the outside as they swoop up the hill. Norris is still there, Piastri is still there, but Norris is marginally ahead. Now Piastri coming back at him, and he's got more leverage. That keeps him in the lead. Tense moments at McLaren. Norris already moving to draw alongside. They'll be equal into turn 10. Norris on the inside and drives a little deep, trying to squeeze Piastri coming out of the chicane. Now they exit up the hill, and as they emerge from the crest, Lando Norris got the better exit, retaking the lead. Oliver Behrman and Nico Hülkenberg going at it, headed down into the chicane, and they go in side by side. Lance Stroll's watching, waiting for a chance to strike on his own, but Hülkenberg gets the better exit and stays ahead of Behrman. Now let's watch across the line because they're still packed in tight. Bit of a train that the Sauber currently conducts, and that will put him under pressure from behind. Behrman moving to the inside at turn 1. Ocon right behind making a move on Stroll. Both Haas's making passes simultaneously. That puts both their cars into the points, but Stroll says not so fast and accelerates back past Esteban Ocon, trying to stay ahead into the S's. They're right alongside one another as Bortoleto arrives on the scene, and they bang wheels into turn 5, but Lance Stroll has the advantage, and he's got the point currently. Great racing from the midfield as they jockey for points. The next chapter of today's battle between Norris and Piastri looks like it's about to happen because Piastri is gaining as he moves out of the toe and tries to set up another move at the chicane. This time there's no contact. He's got the inside, but now have to get a good launch. And that's exactly what he does as Piastri leads again. But now Norris will have the slipstream across the line, and that will carry him into turn 1 alongside his teammate. Piastri can't fight it for long, and Lando Norris snatches his lead right back from Oscar Piastri. These two going at it. Stroll putting the pressure on Ocon. Oh, and he almost lost the car, and he bumps into Ocon in the process. He's going to be ahead, but Ocon will fight him back through turn 5. It isn't enough. Stroll maintains the point position. Verstappen looming behind George Russell once more. Last time we saw this, they both had to make a stop coming out of chicane, and slight contact again. It's thrown Russell off and sends him deep. Verstappen's gonna have the place. He continues. Russell into the pits. This must be for tires, otherwise both would come in with damage. Piastri crosses the line now. Norris is still in, but he's on his way out. But the earlier stop gives Piastri the advantage, and he undercuts his teammate. Hamilton gets the undercut as well. Antonelli is next, and Norris will race him right out of the pits and just barely beats the rookie out, but at the expense of his lead. Now he has to put his head down and get back on it. Alonso still trying to recover from his poor start, now down in 13th, and we right on board with him. This was his move on Oliver Behrman. He's nowhere near close going into the chicane, but look at how much speed he carries through, and then on exit, and then gets him on the way out. Hamilton now putting the pressure on Piastri. This is really the first time we've seen him go for the lead today, but he's clearly got the pace. But now Lando Norris is trying to insert himself in this fight once more, trying to take his lead back after being undercut. He's got the inside on both cars. He's already ahead of Hamilton now, wheel to wheel with his teammate. Piastri on the defense, and comes out of the chicane with a better exit. He's ahead, but that was nearly a double overtake for P1 for Lando Norris. but we've seen him stay close on the front stretch before, and that is exactly what's happening now. Into turn 1, he stays underneath, but he is right back in this conversation for the win here. Leclerc is knocking on George Russell's door as they charge down to turn 1. Russell opening up the inside a bit there, and Leclerc says thank you very much, moving up into 6th now, trying to make more progress. Let's try this again. Lando Norris, this time he moves to the inside. He's going to have to commit to this move, and does. But Piastri commits to the defense, trying not to give an inch, but it looks like Norris got the better run. Sliding into turn 3, and Lando Norris gets fully ahead of Oscar Piastri once again. What a battle these two are having. Up through the S's, all of the top 4 weaving through single file. Norris leads, Piastri leads, Hamilton leads, Antonelli, who looks to be gaining ever so slightly on the Ferrari. Piastri's gone to the inside on the way into 6, sends a lunge on the inside, and I think he caught Norris by surprise here, forcing his way up the inside of turn 7. What an overtake by Oscar Piastri, retaking the lead. Parallel through turn 3, nearly equal coming out of it. Piastri not giving it up this time around as they come into the S's, and Norris has to back out. These two are giving it everything, and that just keeps Hamilton just as close, but he takes a wide line into turn 5, and Antonelli sees it and goes through on the Ferrari. Hamilton right there trying to fight it back as they steam down into turn 6. Kimi Antonelli remains ahead, and now has entered the podium places, passing the pole sitter while he himself started 9th. This scrap far from over as Norris stays right there with Piastri. Turn 6 is the next chance, and Norris will not wait, sending it up the inside. He's alongside, but it's not done yet. Turn 7 now, and they are equal. Who gets the better exit? It's almost Piastri, but Norris launches out of the corner, and the lead is now his. Clearing Gasly quickly is the top priority now for Norris. He's got to get by, and he's got stuck. Piastri rolling around the outside. Antonelli follows suit, as does Hamilton. That's the lead gone. That's a podium gone for Lando Norris. He's still not gotten by. He has to make this move quickly or else he'll be too far from the top 3. Only now is he moving to get ahead of the Alpine, but the others are already entering turns 6 and 7. Norris still not there yet. Hulkenberg, Ocon, Stroll, all packed in here down to the chicane, almost in flying formation as they hit the descent. Ocon has the inside, is nearly 3 wide into the chicane. Stroll goes a bit deep. Ocon comes out of it ahead of Hulkenberg. Stroll stays 10th. Here comes Kimi Antonelli mirroring the movements of Piastri. Almost nothing separates the two now as they come out of the S's, coming out of turn 5, nose to tail. Antonelli's going for the lead. Turn 6 on the inside and bangs wheels with Piastri, continuing to turn 7. And Kimi Antonelli keeps on the inside and comes out ahead. This race could come down to another head-to-head fight between the reigning champion and the rookie. And so far, the rookie is winning out. Coming across the line, Ocon under pressure for P8. Nico Hulkenberg wants those 4 points back. Ocon isn't just going to let him by through turn 1, but the Sauber gets the better run up the hill, and it's P8 for the Hulk. Piastri's been biding his time, but he waits no longer. To the inside of Antonelli at 6, and that just leaves the door open to turn 7. The double right-hander on the exit. Antonelli just staying ahead. What defense by Antonelli, and Piastri didn't quite have it to make the pass. Piastri close again. Turn 6 is his favorite place to make a move, and we could be on to see another one on this lap as to the inside Piastri moves. What defense does the Mercedes have this time around? Piastri is right there. Antonelli heavy on the curbs on the exit. Now into turn 7. He's too wide. He can't defend the move, and Oscar Piastri snatches his lead back from the rookie. These two creating fireworks whenever they come to blows on track, and Piastri gets back in first. He has not been closer, has Kimi Antonelli. The pressure is on for Oscar Piastri. This is it. Antonelli is going for it at the last turn 6. He's up the inside of the McLaren. Not there yet. Now turn 7. And Piastri's got him covered. Antonelli is unsuccessful, but he has one final chance. Head down now on the backstretch. Oscar Piastri will be keen on his mirrors. Which way does the rookie go? As Antonelli trying to inch closer under the slipstream of the McLaren. They round the curve of turn 9, and Antonelli hesitant making the move, and downhill, he won't make it. He doesn't attempt it, and Piastri can breathe a sigh of relief because he rounds the final corner, and for only the second time this season, he takes the checkered flag. Oscar Piastri wins the Road Atlanta Grand Prix just ahead of Kimi Antonelli. Incredible finish to the flag. What a season these two are having against one another, and Piastri finally gets the best of him head to head. So, Oscar Piastri, for only the second time this season, will stand on the top step of the podium, doing so with a very crucial fastest lap point. The reigning champ has strung together a win, 6 consecutive P2s, and today's win in his last 8 races, and the consistency is starting to pay off. Kimi Antonelli surprising everyone again today, following up his win at Fuji with 2nd place today, ahead of Lewis Hamilton taking his first podium since round 11. Winner of round 11, Lando Norris, takes 4th today, ahead of Max Verstappen, who crucially from McLaren finishes behind both of their drivers. Charles Leclerc comes home 6th, ahead of George Russell in 7th, Nico Hülkenberg in 8th in front of Esteban Ocon in P9, and Lance Stroll rounds out our points. Outside the points, Bortoletto so close to his second haul of points ahead of Fernando Alonso, who struggled, started 8th, finished 12th. For the very first time this season, the reigning champion has taken the championship lead, that all-important fastest lap, propelling Oscar Piastri 1 point ahead of Max Verstappen. Lando Norris only gaining 2 points to Max today, and with 2 races left now down 27 points, his title hopes are beginning to fade, but anything can happen in these remaining 2 races, both of which Norris won a year ago. Further towards the rear, lots of movement in the midfield battles as Ocon and Hülkenberg gain some positions in the standings. Very important for the constructors. In the constructors, the biggest story up front is that Ferrari have tied Red Bull for 3rd, now trying to recover from their mid-season collapse. All is to play for that 3rd place spot. Sauber critically move ahead of Haas by 1 point. Remember, the 10th place team will be limited to 1 car per race next season, now that we'll have an 11th team joining the field. The race for 9th could just as easily go to Brazil. That just about does it from Road Atlanta. A momentous shift in the championship today, late in the season, Oscar Piastri getting hot. We'll remain in the States for the next race, headed to Watkins Glen for the penultimate round of the season. We'll see you then on Project SF1.